Hi, this is Shell of Shell's Creations. In this tutorial, I'm going to show you how you can make an embossed look on the metal tags in the CU Metal Tag Toolkit. I will link the Metal Tag Toolkit up in the notes for this video. Okay, I'm starting with the copper circle number 1 in copper. And the first step is to add the letters that we want to emboss. Now, if we were going to emboss letters, they would be kind of rounded. There wouldn't be sharp corners on them, so I'm using Arial Rounded MT Bold. Or you could use any font you want, but I like that rounded look. And it doesn't really matter what color you type them in because we're going to change that up in a minute here. So I've typed in the letters. Now I'm going to Command click on those letters so that I can select just the shape there. Go back to my layer that is my tag and Command or Control J to duplicate just that part. I want to make the raised letters, but I don't want them just to start as a solid color. I want them to be the same texture of my tag. So now we have our layer. Then the next thing we want to do is emboss that layer. So double click on the layer. It'll bring up your layer style box. We want bevel and emboss, and we need to tweak a few things. The size I want is fine, the depth is fine, but I want to soften it by 3 pixels. It may or may not have an effect, but if you're doing one that's larger or smaller, that gives you kind of a perspective. My favorite shading angle is -43, but I'm going to change the screen mode. I want to change this one to color dodge because I want it to be more of the copper, and in fact that's still a little light. Click anywhere on my copper here so that I get roughly there, and let's move up to something kind of a light peach. Ooh yeah, I like how shiny that copper's turning out. Bounce around till you find something that you like there. We also want to lower the opacity on that emboss to about 80 to 80%, something like that. Okay, the next thing that we want to work on is the shine. That's something, we're going for a worn look here, and the raised edges get a shine on something like that. And so in the raised areas here, we need a shine. So we're going to Command or Control click on the letters in love, and then we need to soften the edge here. We don't want it to be exactly there because we want it just to be the middle. And so under Select, Modify, Contract by 2 pixels, and then Modify Feather, again by 2 pixels. Now I want to make a new fill layer, a solid color. The color that I'm picking is again in the coppers, but I want it to be all in this area where it's kind of golden. I have C47B54. I'm going to put that in, and then I want to change that to lower the opacity on that to 50% or so. Let's see what looks right. Yeah, I want it to just give it kind of a glow. Let's lower it to about 56%. Now hold down your Alt key in your layers palette, click on that layer and duplicate it. This time change it to screen and lower it substantially more. I just want a little bit more glow in the middle on that one, and so I'd put that one down around 15% or so. Okay, that will give us the worn look on the top, like it's been kind of in a pocket and been rubbed quite a bit. But the other thing that would happen if you did that is that grime and dirt would build up around the ridges down here around the edges. So let's go back to our word layer, and again Command or Control and click on the letters in love, and now on a new layer below that. So I want to click on that layer and hold down my Command key and click on Create a New Layer, and it'll put it below. Click on your paths and click on the Make a Work Path from Selection. Okay, now we've got our work path. Now we need a dark medium brown. I have 63493D, this dark brown. Again, I started by selecting a color in the copper and then just kind of went down here to something that was a more grimy looking color, I guess. And I need my brush tool. I'm going to choose a soft brush size of about 25, and then I want to stroke the path with the brush. And to get those lines out of the way so that I can see what I'm looking for, I don't want to see my path outline anymore. So I'm going to go ahead and click on the delete the current work path and put away my paths palette. Okay, let's change the blending mode on that one to multiply. That's way too dark. You wouldn't quite have that much grime. Let's lower the opacity down to probably somewhere around 25%. Let's see what looks right. Maybe 26%. Okay, when I look at that, it doesn't look like it grime as much because it's picking up the golden brown of the copper. So let's go ahead and add a hue saturation layer above that. It's going to be hard to tell what exactly I want without being able to just have it clip to the grime love. So I'm going to go ahead and clip that to it, and then we'll look at what we want here. Let's just desat that. Somewhere in between, quite a ways. I'm going to go with -62 on that. Okay, and there is love with the embossed on it. Now, when you look at it here, you go, well, it doesn't really look exactly real, and that's true, but if you'll notice, I have this zoomed out. This little tag is only an inch across, and I have it zoomed out this big, so if we hit zoom out so that we get it a little smaller, so that it gets more in line with what you would see when it's printed out perspective-wise, then it has a lot more of a look of the embossed look on it. If you have any questions, you can reach me at shells.creations1@gmail.com. I'd love to hear from you. Thanks. Bye-bye.